Guys, this video ended up way longer than I anticipated it, so I apologize for that, but for those who are interested in watching grass grow, feel free to watch the whole thing. Otherwise, I do have chapter headings in the description, so if you want to skip straight to the microbes, go ahead. Otherwise, you can see the whole process. So, enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back to Fantastic Microbes and Where to Find Them, the show where we go all over the place to uncover the mysteries of the microscopic world. So a few months ago, I got a comment from somebody asking me to look at a single blade of grass because they wanted to see how much life existed on a blade of grass. Now, most of the stuff that I've looked at in this channel is usually in water. Like there's just a lot of things live like better in water and where there is water, but I do think that we will find something on this grass. A lot of the times on dead leaves and dead grass, and even living grass and stuff, what we'll find are cysts or like little dried up or desiccated microscopic animals or microscopic other creatures like protists. And so what I'm going to do is I have a couple of beakers here, and I'm going to place one single blade of grass in a small beaker, going to add some water, and that'll usually help things to rehydrate, reanimate themselves, and sometimes it takes a couple of days, so we're just going to sit it for a couple of days and see what happens. But then in another beaker that's a little bit larger, I'm going to have several pieces of grass, you know, big old handful. And so hopefully in that one we'll see a little bit more stuff. But yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I want to give this the benefit of the doubt, and so I tried to find one of the larger pieces of grass here, and so I've got this little blade that is about, you know, sorry if I can get this right, there it goes, you know, decent size piece, and it's got even an extra bonus stem thing growing out there too. So what I'm going to do is this one is going to go inside of this little beaker here, and then I'm going to add some water later. So yeah, there we go. All right, and here is vial number 2. So as you can see with the original one, this was a 40 milliliter beaker, and this one is a 200 something milliliter, and there is a lot more grass, and this one has the actual roots as well. There might be a little bit of contamination, but I mean, the whole point of this is to see what's living on and really around the grass, because, you know, nothing on Earth is isolated and everything is in a shared environment. And so we're trying to see what is in this environment here. So here is our grass here that is at 40 times magnification. That is my lowest magnification that I've got. And just kind of altering the focus here so you can see the edge as well as the center, because this blade is kind of curved a little bit. So yeah, this is 40 times. Let's go ahead and zoom in, see if there's anything living or crawling along this. Now, a lot of people might be wondering if there are tardigrades on here. Maybe there are. Maybe there's other bugs. This tiny little circle in the middle, it could be a speck of dirt, or it could be a cyst of, you know, a protist or a small microscopic animal like a tardigrade or a rotifer. You never know. But that's why we're going to add water to this. So again, this is now at 100 times, and actually looks really cool. You know, you can see all these individual cells, and they are very pretty. It almost looks like a big agriculture farm, like rice fields or something. All right, so we've added the water to the mix, and I will probably cover these with like a piece of paper. Oh, there's one little extra blade of grass there. So yeah, I'll probably cover these with either like a piece of paper or, some aluminum foil or something. That way nothing falls into it, so, don't get any dust exposure or, if any bugs are in my house and they smell this sweet grass soup, they can't access it. So anyway, yeah, we'll get back in a couple of days and see what happens. Okay, so we are back. It has been about a week. It's been about, 5, 6 days, and we have both the single blade of grass here. This looks pretty clean. I mean, there is a little bit of debris in there that might have just gotten in there when I was kind of cleaning around the other day. But then we also have the grass clump here, and this clearly has something growing on the surface of the water, and we also see some mold growing as well. So we'll take a look at both of those. Most importantly, we're going to take a look at the actual blades of grass themselves, and see if there's anything feeding on the grass or if it's all just kind of floating around, eating on any dissolved grass water bits. So first, we're going to take a look at the single blade of grass here, and as you can see, this is a lot bigger than a actual slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off a tiny piece because that is all you really need, and we'll place that on the slide there, and maybe we'll just get a couple more pieces here as well. So it's a little tricky doing this one-handed. So let me pause this and. Okay, I added just a teeny bit of water from the sample, and yeah, I've got a couple blades of grass here, so let's go ahead. Okay, so here is our grass from several days of steeping in the water. A little bit of grass tea or grass soup, if you will. This is at 40 times magnification, with the 4 times objective. This was at the very end of the grass piece, so some of the green chloroplasts have disappeared somehow. I don't know if they were eaten away or if they just died off some other way, but let's go ahead and get a little bit closer. See what this looks like. Now, here, let me just zoom in a teeny bit there. Now, I don't see too much movement on here, so I'm guessing there wasn't too much alive on this grass. This is kind of cool looking at it real close. You can see these little spiky edges. I wonder if this is why grass itches me so much. Or maybe I'm just allergic somehow else, but yeah, I don't know how that all works. Maybe it's these little pokey things that get the grass allergens inside of you. I don't know. I'm just speculating. If anybody knows how grass works, let me know. Oh, yeah, there's an air bubble. And yeah, not too exciting there. Let's zoom. Oh, this is kind of cool. So with this blade of grass here, you see these little rectangles or ovals. I believe these are the stomata, which is how the grass breathes. So every plant on the earth, pretty sure, has these, and they, take in carbon dioxide through this, and then they, do all of their photosynthesis stuff, and then they exhale carbon dioxide, they exhale oxygen and water. So nice and cool to see those all over the place. And, sometimes there's living things like on the tips of the, thing that you're looking at. And sometimes there's not. Sorry, I'm not on a very stable table right now, so everything kind of jiggles a little bit when I move it. But yeah, not seeing too much stuff. But it's kind of cool to see that stomata on the grass blade. Cool. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to find some stuff in the other sample. So let me just take a water sample from this, from that gunk that I saw earlier, and see if there's anything in there. And then we'll move on to the large. Okay, so we are at 100 times magnification here, which is kind of my middle one, and we are looking at the water of the single blade of grass. And as you can see, there's not too much. Some of those little dots that you're seeing are just from the cover slip, and then you're also seeing, so like the dots that are moving, those are on the cover slip, but then the ones that aren't moving, those are just little spots on my lens that I just need to clean. I've been trying to clean these things forever, but it is pretty tricky because you think they're clean, and then as soon as you get them under the microscope, you see a lot of dots everywhere. Okay, so here it looks like we have a bunch of bacteria. Okay, this is kind of exciting because we've got something. But this is my closest magnification that I have. So this is my 400 times. My next purchase in about a month with my Patreon money is going to be my 600 times. I just kind of destroyed mine with some oil because it's an immersion oil microscope objective, and so I accidentally let the oil dry and it kind of got into all these places. Anyway, yeah, looks like we're mostly seeing bacteria here. Let me back out, see if there's anything else. Bacteria are sometimes fun to look at, but it's really hard to learn too much about them just by observing. So let's pull. Here I am at 100 times. I found something, this might be interesting. It might not be, who knows. Yeah, this could be part of an insect, or it could be part of, the blade of grass that dissolved away. But again, not much is feeding on it. Doesn't even look like there's much bacteria over here. So, yeah, kind of disappointing with this first one. But again, I've taken a peek at the other one, the other grass clump, and there's a bunch of stuff in there. So fear not, we will find some cool stuff. So let's go ahead and move on to that one. Okay, so here is the blade of grass that is in the clump of grass with that water and stuff. I'm seeing, a couple of little ciliates and things that came with the water, but it doesn't seem like there are many things, devouring the grass. So I'm wondering if the cell wall of the grass is like too thick. Well, let's see. Let's zoom in on this guy. We might have something grazing in the grass here. Well, this one's just kind of skipping around. It's like sometimes you'll see like rotifers or water bears that are like actually eating part of the grass or the plant matter, and like sucking the chloroplasts out and all of the plant juices. But I've looked at a couple blades of grass from here and haven't really seen that. So I'm guessing that the animals that have shown up around here probably aren't adapted to eating this grass. They're probably more adapted to eating the other things like the bacteria and the yeasts and the fungi that all live around the grass. So it looks like we have some things that are hanging out, kind of attached to the grass. Let's just change our perspective here. Yeah, so there's lots of bacteria, and lots of these Vorticella-like organisms. But yeah, it's kind of same stuff that we see everywhere else. It's on the grass, or like on the top of the water, and in the middle of the water, and on the bottom of the jar. It's all pretty uniform. So, pretty interesting stuff. Okay, I'm gonna try something new here. So I have the cover slip right here on these forceps, and I'm just going to dip it on top here to get a sample, and then just very, very, ever so carefully drop it right on here and see if that works to collect a sample. Well, that kind of worked. Let me just set the phone down here. Except I got some on top and some on bottom. So the reason I wanted to try doing this was because I heard somebody comment on a YouTube channel that if you place a cover slip on top and of a sample and just like wait for a couple of days, then a colony of organisms will just kind of show up and set up shop there. So I wanted to do that earlier, but I forgot. So this is just kind of the cheap man's version. So let's go ahead and I'll just clean this up a little bit with some napkin here, and then we'll look. Cool, so it looks like there's a lot going on here, and I apologize again, my water softener's going crazy, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. But it looks like there are a bunch of ciliates hanging out here of various shapes and sizes. So homework, Jordan will go and get the reference book and do some commentary and put up the names of things here and there. But yeah, so again, this is 100 times. Oh, here, let me just zoom out for a second to give you full spectrum of everything. So this is the glass slide without anything, and then you see the line of the cover slip barely misses. So these guys are outside of the cover slip, and then this is all inside. Like there's an air bubble trapped right here, and you know, some more things. But these guys should be able to swim freely underneath because there should be enough water. But anyway, let's go ahead and get in closer and check these guys out. So yeah, these ciliates are pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure I've seen these guys before, and I'll put a name on for what I think they probably are. So they have some extra long tails at the bottom, and not like super long, but you know, just longer than their cirri that cover their whole body. And then it looks like they've got some grooves that go down the length of their body. Dude, I'm trying to, this is your moment. Okay, so there's a lot of them. Lots of bacteria in this one. So, okay. And then lots of Vorticella-like organisms around here, but I'm pretty sure these aren't Vorticella. I think they're called something else. So let me kind of showcase those to you. So most Vorticella will kind of stick to whatever they can to survive and feed and stuff. Sometimes they'll stick to like a little twig or a little, you know, just piece of debris and start feeding. But the interesting thing is that there is this big white, well, it's white in real life, but here it looks kind of brownish, glob of stuff that all of these things, or most of them, seem to be attached to. And so that gave me a clue that these might be different organisms than the Vorticella that I'm used to. And so I went ahead and looked at a book, and I'll show you guys what that is all about. Okay, so here's my main reference book that I've got. It's called Free Living Freshwater Protozoa. Even though we're not in the fresh water, this is probably where we will find most of the things are living on the grass. And so anyway, this is what I found here. This organism or colony called, I'm probably going to butcher this so bad, Sphaeroeca, I don't know. Well, this is probably what they are. Anyway, so the description really caught me. So it says a planktonic colonial collar flagellate. All of the cells lie at the outer edge of a ball made of gelatinous material. So I figured the stuff that we're kind of looking at, you know, is some sort of material. I don't know if it's gelatinous or not, but, you know, it says the colonies are pretty big. They kind of feed on the bacteria and stuff. But yeah, so this is probably what these are, Sphaeroeca. So there you go. So yeah, again, all of these things are kind of attached, or this is where they hang out, is on this gelatinous blob. The book says that they kind of hang out at the edges. Now, the way that this cover slip was collected, these things probably were all facing downward, and so that's why they look like they're all in the middle. But yeah, very, very interesting. Here's some we can get a closer view on. But a lot of them just seem to be stable, like not feeding too much. Like normally you'll see like a vortex of water, you know, going around, but I'm guessing there's something having to do with this water that they don't like. Like maybe the bacteria around there are emitting, you know, chemicals as byproducts that are toxic to these individuals, because there is a lot of bacteria in here. So yeah, let's keep looking around. We've got some cool little kidney bean shaped ciliates, lots of them. And then we also have a bunch of... Okay, so I'm going to do some homework and figure out what I can find out about these little kidney bean shaped things. Alright, so we're looking for the kidney bean shaped ciliates, and in this key I was able to find this one right here that describes these specifically as flattened kidney shaped cells, often found in soil. So that pretty much, and with the mouth located at the lateral whatever invagination, I guess that's the word. So anyway, this pretty much looks like what we were looking at, and it is called Colpoda, or Colpoda, however you want to say, you know, if you're a potato person or a potato person. That's what these maybe perhaps are. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I think we answered the question here as to how much stuff can we find in a single blade of grass. Answer, not too much, but if you get a big clump of grass and add some time and water, we can find definitely a lot of things. So I'm going to return these specimens to their habitat here. Unfortunately, you know, some of these only like to live in water, so they'll probably dry out and wait for the next water season, you know, wait for it to rain again. Some of them might pass away, but they did get a fun time while it lasted. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.